Oh, I've had too many noodles. Hello there guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Joffrey Noodle Legs here again today. Today got a little unboxing today from Portsmouth Tarantulas. So we're going to crack on with that. But before we do that, I just want to give a little shout out to Steve Thornton of Tarantula Tastic Enclosures. On his YouTube this week, he's doing a Versacolor giveaway where you can get some Versacolor slings. So do me a big favour, go over to Steve's channel, that's Tarantula Tastic Enclosures, and watch the video for the Versacolor giveaway. And also while you're over there, subscribe to his channel please, and good luck with the giveaway. And please follow Steve. It's a fantastic channel. He does a lot of sort of like enclosure builds for sort of like mostly sort of horror film based sort of enclosure builds and stuff like that, and they're fantastic. So please go over and give him a little like if you can, and also share that around. So like I said, we've got a little unboxing today. This is from Portsmouth Tarantulas. Now I have bought from them before. They're not a seller I use a lot. I mean, they are really, really good. I tend to use so many legs just because you get to sort of know a sort of seller, and you know what it's like. You go back to somewhere that you sort of really enjoy. But I do like Portsmouth Tarantulas. My very first spider, which was my curly hair spider, was from them, and it's doing really, really well. Anyway, I've got a new spider from them today, so let's have a little unbox to see what we've got inside, shall we? I didn't get this from So Many Legs because I didn't see it on their site. So I went to Portsmouth Tarantulas. I've been after this one for a little while. I've been researching it for a fair while now, and it's something I've been wanting to have in my collection. So let's just unbox it, shall we? Okay. Well, that's cute. Cute little box in a box. I like that. That's cool. I think I've got my receipt here. Fantastic. No need for heat packs this time of year, really, to be honest with you, because it is quite warm. It's not really warm out there. It's about sort of 15 degrees, so it's not cold, you know, so you don't really need to have a heat pack in the sort of warm weather. The sort of downside of having a heat pack in a warmish weather is that it could make the spider dry out, you know. So here we go. Quite excited, a little bit nervous because it's a species I've not had. Just let me remove some of these packing peanuts. So let's have a look. Oh, is it a little sling in here as well? Okay. Let's have a quick look at this one in a minute. It's can't really read it. I think it says the Kilimanjaro mustard baboon, and it says free. So that's really nice. I don't know about the species. I'll need to look that up. Don't know nothing about it. Now the spider is in here. It says it's a juvenile, but they've put it into like a little sling pot. Mind you, it's a bit bigger than that one. And this is the Harpactia pulchripes, or pulchrips, which is the golden blue leg baboon. So that's what I got today. So yeah, a bit surprised because they normally come in a sort of larger sort of pot. But it's nice to have a nice freebie. Thank you, Portrait Tarantulas. I've never heard of that one. Let's have a look. I'm not going to even attempt to pronounce the name, but it's a Kilimanjaro mustard baboon. Okay, need to look that one up. Right, so it is a juvenile. Well, it's down as a juvenile. I'm a bit concerned now because the enclosure that I'm doing for it might be a little bit too big. So we're going to have to make a decision on that once we actually see the spider. Like I said, it is a bit bigger than the sling pot, as you can see. But it is supposed to be about 4 to 5 centimeters. I'm going to think that's going to be a lot smaller than that, to be honest. Yeah, okay. Well, we'll soon find out, won't we, when we unbox it. But I have done a setup for it. I will do the setup for it now. So let's do that now for us, shall we? Right, yeah, so we've done the setup. Like I said, I've done quite a large setup because obviously I was buying a juvenile. So I tend to use these with my juveniles because they tend to be about 1.5 to 2 inches in size. So generally a good size. I'm a bit concerned. This looks a bit small, to be honest. But what we'll do, we'll rehouse the spider into it and have a little look. And now if I think it's too big, we will cut the spider out and we will rehouse it into a smaller enclosure. I do have a couple of smaller sort of like enclosures sitting around, so we can make a judgment on that once we see the size of the spider. So I think the best thing to do, I'm just going to borrow the lid off my Brazilian white knee enclosure because it's got a nice big glass window. So we're going to pop that over the top just for now because these can be fast, I've heard. So I'm going to just pop that lid onto top of that one there. These can be quite fast. So what we're going to do, guys, let me move that little one out of the way. I'm going to need to read up on that baboon because I've never heard of it. So we'll see what happens with that in possibly another video. But what we're going to do is try and move you down to a better sort of position, possibly, so we can sort of maybe see something. Yeah. So what we're going to try and do then is try and get this baby rehoused. Now again, don't know the size of the spider because, you know, like I said, I ordered a juvenile. This is possibly a juvenile. Every store is sort of different, and they may have just packed it into a smaller sort of tub. So what we need to do is be very, very careful. These are an old world spider, so they don't possess urticating hairs, but they do have a stronger venom than some other spiders. So we're going to just try and pop the little lid off if we can, very, very carefully. And I'm going to try and remove the whole tissue if I can, because hopefully it will be packed inside the tissue. Whoops, maybe not. Okay, so let's have a little look. Still can't see the spider. Give me a second, guys. I'll try and find I do have another pair of tongs, but putting my hand on them is another thing. Like, you know what I'm like, guys. I'm so disorganised. I am pretty disorganised. I do have another set of tongs somewhere. I keep telling my lad I need to be a bit more organised with my stuff when it comes to unboxing. I can't see the spider yet. I am very quite concerned, to be honest, because it does look a lot smaller than what I thought I was going to be getting, to be honest. Okay, I can't find the other tongs, so I'm going to have to try very gently. See if I can lift this tissue out. Because normally when you get a juvenile, they tend to turn up in like a rather large, not large, but one of those enclosures. Now I don't want to keep squeezing this because this looks really, really tight. Okay, I think I can see a tiny little leg there. Let me have a little look, guys. So sorry if you're not seeing anything at the moment. There is a couple of tiny little legs just starting to poke out. I think this thing's going to be tiny. This is more of an overgrown sling, I think. Let me have a see. You can just see a couple of little leggies just sort of starting to stick out. So I'm trying to think what's best to do, because I don't want this to be over big for it. As I say, I thought it was going to be quite a big size tarantula. You're going to come out, sweetheart. Alright, am I going to just leave you like that for a moment? Just see if we can get anything to sort of move out, or... Yeah. Never received a juvenile one of these, to be honest, because I don't buy slings or anything. I don't really have these sort of pots sort of turn up. Yeah, I want to get the little baby out though. I don't want it to be sat in here. I also don't want it to be running up my arm. It's so packed it in so tight. Yeah, I'm struggling to get this out, to be honest. Okay, so what I need to do, guys, is just try and get this thing out without hurting the spider. It's so tightly packed in, really, really tightly packed in. I think I might have just got the edges of it. There we go. Okay, so I've managed to get that out. Now we've got to try and see if we can get the spider out. Okay. Oh, this is quite a small little package, isn't it? So it's definitely not a big juvenile. Whoops, sorry guy. Sorry my darling. I don't like this packaging, guys. Really don't like it. It's just too, I don't know, too tight. I think if there's, you know, the spider's probably beautiful, but my only sort of criticism at the moment is that I think with juveniles, even if they're a smaller juvenile, put them in a sort of larger sort of pot, just so it's just easier for us to sort of like get this little spidey out. So now I've got to try and ravel this and try and get the spider out. Still no sign of it. It's going to be tiny, guys. There it is. It's on the brush. Yeah, it's tiny. That's not a, that is not a that is not a juvenile, I don't think. That's more just like an overgrown sling. So what I might have to try and do, guys, is catch that up and put it into a different enclosure. It's hiding underneath this little leaf thing here. Alright, baby. Alright, darling. Well, now it's gone hiding somewhere in there. well, yeah, okay. So, yeah, this is, I would say it's just like an overgrown sling. It is hid itself underneath this cork bark, I think. If not into the cork bark, I think it's actually gone in to one of those little holes. So there's really nothing I can really do about that now, apart from leave the spider in there. Unless I make another little setup and put that big bit of cork bark in there. We could try that. So what I'm going to do, guys, is we're going to make another tiny little setup, and then we're going to see if we can locate that spider and put it into it. Right, so here we are. I've done a tiny little setup here. As you can, if I just move that there for a second, I need to try and locate that spider. I think it's gone into one of the crevices of that bit of wood. So I do have this little what they call them, really useful boxes, which I'm probably going to set up and move that big piece of bark in there, and obviously the water bowl, and pop it in there. I think that's the best thing to do, just because due to the size of the actual spider. I think that's probably the best thing we can do. So what I'm going to do, guys, is just pop your camera just there for a second. I do apologise for this, guys. This does happen, guys. Obviously, when you get an arrival of a spider, you know, you're not going to really know the exact size or anything of it until it arrives. I'm just trying. I'm hunting around again. I'm looking for my little torch. I do have a little torch, and I'm going to try and dig out that bit of cork bark and have a look to see if the spider is on there. Now, if I can't, which I might not be able to because I can't find my torch, so what I'll probably do, guys, is take that lid off for the moment. I'm going to just lift this up very carefully, very gently. Hopefully the spider is going to be inside here. So what we're going to do is bring the camera over and we're going to have a little look, because I think the spider's gone in there somewhere, because it's not in the enclosure. There is loads of little sort of places in there where that spider could have gone. See, what I'm thinking of doing, you see, is just moving that into there and having that in there. Right, so I'm going to do that for the moment, just in case that spider is in there, and put the water bowl in there. Okay, what I'm going to do now, guys, is have a little look around in this enclosure here to see if it's still in there. So what I'm going to do is just pause the video and have a quick look to see if the spider's in the big enclosure. If it's not, then I know it's in that bark. So just give me a minute, guys. Right, guys, well, I've had a little look and I can't see the spider in the large enclosure, so I really do think it's hiding in one of the crevices of that enclosure there. So I think what we're going to do is I'm going to leave the water bowl in this one, keep it enclosed in that one. We're going to put a little bit of leaf litter in there just to give it a bit of a, I think it is in this one. Yeah, it was down as a juvenile, but that was more, I don't think you even caught it on film. It was so tiny. Well, I'll say tiny. It was about that big, so it's about an inch, and it just sort of ran straight over down the back of the cork bark. Now, it's not in the substrate of the. It's not in the substrate here of this enclosure, because this is where it ran down. There's no spider there. so it hasn't sort of buried itself or anything. So I think it's in here, and I think it's going to be within that bark. So what we've done, I've moved it over to a smaller enclosure, and that will have to stay as that is at the moment. So that's fine like that, see. But what I will do, I'm also going to keep this enclosure like this until I've seen it. Once I've seen it moving about, I know I can reuse this enclosure for something else. In fact, I can probably just leave that as a setup for another spider, to be honest, or keep this aside for when it's molted out 1 or 2 times, then I can move it over into there. But again, like that, things like that happen. You know, there's no, you know, that you can't tell. But I would have seen the spider in there by now, you know, and it's definitely not in there. You know, I've had a good old sort of zoom in, see the substrate. What I'll probably need to do is just leave it for a while in here, and it will probably pop out. If I start seeing webbing, then I know which enclosure it's in. So anyway, that is the H. pulchripes, okay, the golden blue-legged baboon. It was really quick. Probably didn't catch anything on that on the film, sadly. But what can I do about it, guys? There's nothing I can do about it. Yeah, like I said, it's probably it's the most awkward unboxing I've ever had, to be honest with you. It's just simply because, you know, when you go online and you buy a spider and it says juvenile, you've got in your head the sort of juvenile size, don't you? Like 1.5 inches, sort of maybe up to 2 inches even, you know, even up to 2.5 to 3 inches. I've had juveniles that size. But this turned up and I reckon it was just under 1 inch. It's an overgrown sling. Definitely. So yeah, a little bit disappointed, to be honest, with the size of the spider. Still really good to have it in my collection. Just making sure it's not anywhere else. No. Yeah, you know, this was down as a juvenile, and yeah. And obviously it came, oh, I can see the spider. I can see it. You see it, guys? So it was definitely hiding in that wood. There we go. At least we've got a little look at it. I think it was good to change the enclosure though, because this enclosure is still a nice size for that. But to be honest, this will stay in there for a month or so. Oh, at least we can see it. There's the H. pulchripes. See, it hasn't even got any of its sort of colorations yet. And I know when they get to like a juvenile 1.5 inch sort of size, they tend to have the blue starting to come through on the legs. But this one doesn't. You can just start seeing some of the gold sort of appearing. So yeah, might have to try and do a little bit of refiguration of this enclosure a little bit, but I think it's got the substrate in there is quite deep for it to burrow. It's still a beautiful little spider, guys, isn't it? It's still a beautiful little spider. Anyway, as I was telling you, this is an old world spider. They come from South Africa, around the Grahamstown area. These spiders are renowned to be quite the burrowers. They're terrestrial. They're going to be heavy webbers. Hence why I've put some little things in there for it to sort of like create some anchor points. Yeah. So they are an old world species. So they don't have herticating hair, but they do have a stronger venom. These are renowned to be a little bit more laid back than a lot of the old world spiders, except they are can be quite skittish, especially at a young age. So that's the thing to be aware of. But they are a beautiful spider. When they grow up, they are sort of like a bronzy gold colour with blue metallic legs. And I was kind of expecting to see a little bit of that today, because like I said, it's a juvenile, but I wouldn't class that as a juvenile. I would say that was just like a really sort of like overgrown sling. It's almost the same size as my polka. But luckily, this is why it's always good, guys, have extra little enclosures about, just so we can quickly get something together quick. I mean, according to this, it's still a polka. I'll have to change that. But yeah, I'm hoping it's gonna like its little home here now. It's got this massive bit of wood, which I'm not too happy about, because that was just something to climb on. The actual hide is in the other enclosure, but this is going to be a burrow, so I could just poke down into the soil there. I've just poked with the that there, just to encourage it, and I might actually just do another little one here. There we go. I've just poked a couple of little holes if it wants to burrow down. Yes, so this is the H. Polkapes. Finally got it rehoused. It was a bit of a, yeah, but like I said to you guys, just stay calm, don't panic. As you see, I didn't panic. I just thought, okay, I was a bit panicky when I saw the size of the tub it's in. I thought, well, that's going to be tiny. That isn't a juvenile. But yeah, so they've sent me like an overgrown sling by the looks of it. But it's still beautiful, and I'm still happy with it. Thank you to Portsmouth Tarantulas for this beautiful spider. I'd like to thank a few people before we leave the video. Obviously the YouTubers that I follow: Mark the Spider Guy, Peter Webster, Spider Mum 1978, Unseen Universe, Unusual Pets, Incredible Inverts and Other Animals, RS Designs, Reptile Innovations, Tea in the Deep Blue Sea, Tarantula-tastic Enclosures, 8 Legs 4 Wheels. Yeah, great channels. Make sure you give them all a follow, guys. If he's going to think about coming up, which he is, I shall pop that little lid on. Sorry about that, guys. He's decided to have a little clamber up the wall, and we do not want a baboon running around the house, do we? So we'll keep that secure in there. So what we do with the spider, we'll leave it for a couple of days to settle in, and then I'll try it with some sort of a small cricket. Yeah, you can just about make him out there on the side. Quite leggy, so that could indicate like maybe a young male. Don't know yet, it's a bit too young to say. But yeah, so what we'll do, guys, we'll leave the video there. Thank you very much for watching. Please, please, please look after yourselves, and I really hope I see you all soon.